Throughout the sweeping expanse of human history, there exist mysteries that quietly defy explanation, lingering in the shadows of time. These enigmas are not merely gaps in knowledge. They are invitations to imagine, to wonder, and to drift slowly through the past with curiosity as our guide. From sunken cities to monumental structures, from intricate artifacts to the faintest whispers of lost civilizations, history is filled with traces of human ingenuity and ambition that continue to astonish us. Each fragment we uncover, each stone we examine, is a reminder of lives lived long before our own, lives shaped by belief, knowledge, and a persistent desire to leave a mark on the world. Our journey begins by exploring the faint footprints left behind by civilizations that flourished and vanished before they could fully record their stories. Some of their cities now lie beneath shifting sands or beneath the sea, silent and almost forgotten, yet holding secrets that invite contemplation. As we drift through these hidden realms, we will consider not only the physical remains, but the human experience behind them, the planning, labor, rituals, and knowledge that allowed these societies to thrive. In this exploration, the known and the unknown will coexist, creating a gentle tension that encourages reflection. This is a world where the familiar meets the mysterious, where what has survived offers tantalizing glimpses of what may never be fully understood. And as we settle into this quiet meditation, we prepare to uncover the stories of ancient civilizations, their achievements, and their mysteries, an immersive journey that blends history, archaeology, and imagination into a calm, contemplative experience meant to guide the mind into both wonder and rest. Long before the empires we know today, there were civilizations whose achievements hint at knowledge and sophistication far beyond what we often assume. Some of their cities now lie buried beneath oceans or dense forests, almost invisible to the casual observer. Yet, even in fragments, these remnants speak volumes. Pavlopetri, submerged off the coast of Greece, preserves streets, tombs, and building foundations that suggest careful planning and social organization. Walking through it in imagination, one can almost hear the echoes of footsteps along ancient streets, offering a quiet glimpse in a lives long past. In the Amazon, geometric earthworks and settlements hidden beneath the jungle canopy challenge the belief that the forest was untouched before European contact. These remnants indicate that ancient peoples engineered landscapes, managed resources, and built complex communities in harmony with their environment. Similarly, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, with its massive carved stone pillars predating agriculture, reveals a depth of communal effort and symbolic thought that continues to puzzle researchers. The site's intricate carvings of animals and abstract symbols suggest a rich intellectual and spiritual life that defies simple explanation. These examples highlight the tension between what we can observe and what remains unknowable. Archaeology allows us glimpses into lost knowledge, but each discovery raises more questions than answers. The civilizations we study leave behind traces of ambition, skill, and creativity that echo across time. As we explore them, we are reminded of the impermanence of human endeavor and the enduring power of mystery. By pausing to imagine the lives, intentions, and ingenuity of those who came before, we cultivate a gentle curiosity, preparing the mind for a journey into the deeper enigmas of history yet to come. Throughout history, some of the most enduring mysteries lie not in what has been lost, but in what was built. Monuments and structures so immense, so precise, that even modern minds struggle to comprehend their creation. The Great Pyramids of Giza rise from the sands of Egypt, colossal testaments to human ambition, engineering, and devotion. Their sheer scale, aligned with remarkable precision to the cardinal points, continues to inspire awe and quiet contemplation. Each stone, carefully placed, whispers the story of labor, belief, and ingenuity. And yet, even with centuries of study, the methods used to construct them, the purposes behind their exacting measurements, and the intentions of the builders remain partially shrouded in mystery. It is here, in the intersection of known fact and unresolved enigma, that our imagination begins to wander. Far to the north, Stonehenge stands in the English countryside as a silent circle of memory and ritual. These stones, weathered by millennia, are arranged with subtle alignments to the sun's solstices and perhaps other celestial phenomena long lost to our understanding. We can measure the angles, trace the paths of the sun, and study the geology, yet questions linger. Why were these massive stones transported from distant lands? Why arranged in this precise pattern, and what ceremonies, thoughts, or intentions guided their placement? In contemplating Stonehenge, we are invited into a quiet reverie, imagining the hands that carved, moved, and erected each stone, and the rhythms of daily life that surrounded this monumental labor. Traveling across continents, the Nazca lines of Peru stretch across the desert floor, massive figures visible only from the air. The origin and purpose of these geoglyphs remain an open question, a reminder that human history is often stranger than fiction. Some suggest they were ceremonial pathways. Others propose they mapped celestial events, while more imaginative interpretations hint at messages meant for beings beyond our sight. Regardless of the intent, the Nazca lines leave a profound impression. Human creativity has the capacity to reach beyond practicality, to craft symbols of meaning that endure across millennia, inviting us to wonder quietly at the minds that conceive them. These structures, while widely studied, reveal a common tension that threads through much of archaeology: the balance between what we can observe and measure and the mysteries that remain intangible. The contrast between the empirical and the enigmatic is what gives these monuments their lasting power. It is not only their size or age that captivates, but the lingering questions they provoke. How could societies with no advanced machinery move stones weighing tens of tons with such accuracy? What motivated the meticulous alignments with stars, solstices, or geographical markers? And perhaps most intriguingly, what knowledge, now lost to time, guided these remarkable constructions? Even smaller structures carry echoes of this same wonder. Temples hidden deep in jungles, tombs buried beneath layers of earth, and ceremonial platforms tucked into remote valleys offer glimpses of a sophisticated understanding of space, design, and purpose. When we imagine the construction of these sites, we sense not just human skill, but human intention, the quiet striving to connect with something greater than the self. Whether that connection was spiritual, astronomical, or symbolic, it leaves a subtle imprint, a trace of thought and devotion that calls across centuries. In observing these remnants, we are participants in a silent dialogue with the past, our curiosity guided by faint, almost imperceptible whispers of human aspiration. It is tempting to frame these structures purely in terms of achievement, but doing so risks overlooking the profound mystery that surrounds them. The contrast between what is explainable and what remains elusive is where their magic resides. Archaeologists can trace the quarrying of stones, the transportation methods, and even the social organization required to complete these monumental tasks. Yet, they cannot fully explain the choice of form, the specific alignments, or the intentions behind certain symbolic carvings. These unanswered questions are not failures. Rather, they are invitations. They encourage us to pause, to observe, and to drift through history with a sense of reverent curiosity, embracing the calm wonder that arises from not knowing everything. Consider also the interplay of light and shadow upon these ancient constructions. At sunrise or sunset, the Great Pyramids cast long, shifting shadows that seem to dance across the desert floor, while the standing stones of Stonehenge interact with the sun in ways that mark the passage of seasons. Such subtle interactions suggest an acute awareness of time, nature, and cosmic rhythm. The ancients may have understood their world in ways we are only beginning to glimpse, blending practicality with spirituality, observation with ritual. And as we imagine ourselves in these landscapes, standing amidst these monumental forms, We sense the rhythm of human thought across centuries, a rhythm that resonates quietly with our own curiosity. These structures also remind us of the continuity of human fascination with permanence. In building monuments that could endure, civilizations sought to assert their presence against the inevitability of time. Yet paradoxically, in their endurance, they also highlight our temporal fragility. Stones endure long after the people who placed them are gone. And in this contrast, there's a meditation on the impermanence of life versus the persistence of mystery. We are drawn not only to marvel at the ingenuity, but to reflect quietly on our place in the vast timeline of human history. Across continents, cultures, and eras, the story of these megastructures is both universal and personal. They speak of human aspiration, ingenuity, and reverence, while also leaving space for interpretation, imagination, and wonder. Standing before these marvels in thought or memory, we recognize the timeless curiosity of humans to explore, to create, and to seek meaning in forms that endure beyond a single lifetime. The calm contemplation of these enigmas allows us to feel connected across centuries, to experience a continuity of thought and wonder that transcends culture, language, and geography. As we leave the shadowed stones of ancient structures and prepare to encounter the artifacts and objects that populate human history, there's a gentle, lingering sense of awe. The transition from monumental constructions to individual artifacts is seamless, as both reflect human curiosity and creativity, but on different scales. If structures speak to collective ambition, artifacts reveal the intimate, personal, and often inexplicable choices of individuals across time. The mysteries they carry continue the story begun by the stones, extending our meditation from vast landscapes to the delicate traces of human hands and minds. In this space between the known engineering feats and the unknowable intentions behind them, we find a quiet, reflective wonder. The Great Pyramids, Stonehenge, and the Nazca Lines are not just relics to be studied. They are companions in a gentle journey, guiding us through the interplay of history and mystery, fact and imagination. They invite us to slow our pace, breathe deeply, and let the questions unfold like shadows at dusk. And in this unfolding, we begin to understand that history is not merely a record of events, but a living, breathing tapestry of human curiosity, creativity, and the enduring allure of the unknown. Beyond the grandeur of monumental structures lie objects that carry whispers of history in their quiet, enigmatic presence. These artifacts, often small and unassuming, hold within them the weight of human curiosity, invention, and mystery. Unlike massive stones or sprawling cities, their power is subtle, found in the questions they provoke and the gaps they reveal in our understanding. They are reminders that even the tiniest traces of human activity can challenge what we think we know, urging us to linger, observe, and imagine the world that produced them. One of the most striking examples is the Antikythera mechanism, a device recovered from a shipwreck off the coast of Greece. On first glance, it may appear to be a simple collection of bronze gears, but closer inspection reveals a level of sophistication that seems far ahead of its time. The mechanism is believed to have functioned as an astronomical calculator, capable of predicting eclipses, tracking celestial bodies, and marking the cycles of the solar system with astonishing precision. Its existence challenges our assumptions about the technological capabilities of ancient civilizations and invites a gentle wonder. How could such knowledge have existed, only to be lost and forgotten for centuries? It is as if the past is nudging us softly, asking us to reconsider the boundaries of what is possible. Across the Middle East, the Baghdad Battery presents a similar puzzle. This small clay vessel, containing a copper cylinder and an iron rod, has led some to speculate that it may have functioned as an early form of electrical cell. While its true purpose remains debated, the very possibility sparks curiosity and reflection. Was it a practical tool, a ritual object, or an experiment whose knowledge has been lost? The ambiguity is part of its allure. It asks no immediate questions of the observer, but instead encourages a slow, meditative contemplation of human ingenuity, leaving us suspended between certainty and mystery. Maps, too, have carried secrets across time. The Pyrie Reis map, created in the early 16th century, depicts coastlines with a remarkable level of accuracy, including areas that were supposedly unknown at the time. Scholars have puzzled over its sources, noting that some features appear to reflect ancient knowledge that predates modern cartography. Holding such a map in our imagination, we are transported to the minds of those who created it, pondering the information, methods, and observations that informed its lines and contours. The map is more than a navigational tool. It is a bridge to a past that we can see but not fully touch, a whisper of civilizations and knowledge that may no longer exist. The common thread among these artifacts is their ability to blur the line between the known and the unknown. Unlike texts or monumental inscriptions, which often carry clear messages, these objects speak in riddles. They do not hand us their stories on a silver platter. They invite us to engage with their presence, to imagine the hands that shaped them, the minds that conceived them, and the worlds in which they functioned. In doing so, they create a quiet, reflective space in which history becomes a conversation rather than a lecture, a gentle dialogue across time rather than a rigid timeline of events. Artifacts such as these also remind us that history is never linear. Knowledge can be discovered, lost, and rediscovered in ways that defy expectation. A device may appear sophisticated beyond the understanding of its era, only to vanish and leave later generations puzzled by its ingenuity. A map may reflect observations that modern scholarship cannot fully explain, suggesting that human curiosity and invention have always danced at the edge of the unknown. In contemplating these objects, we begin to perceive the subtle rhythms of human intellect, the ebb and flow of discovery, and the quiet persistence of wonder across centuries. Even objects that seem mundane at first glance may carry extraordinary stories. Jewelry, tools, pottery, and carved figurines often reveal details about daily life, spiritual practices, and social structures that formal histories overlook. A carved symbol on a small tablet or a peculiar alignment in a household artifact can open a window into beliefs, intentions, and knowledge systems that have no written record. The ordinary and the extraordinary coexist within these relics, demonstrating that mystery is not confined to grand monuments. It permeates the smallest traces of human presence, waiting patiently for those who are willing to look and imagine. The act of imagining is, in itself, part of the meditation that these artifacts inspire. We can picture an astronomer turning the gears of the Antikythera mechanism under the dim light of a lamp, noting the alignment of stars and planets. We can envision someone handling the Baghdad battery with careful curiosity, exploring its function with a mind attuned to experimentation and discovery. We can trace the lines of the Pyrie Reis map with our eyes, imagining sailors, scholars, and explorers attempting to make sense of the world as they knew it. In each instance, we step quietly into the past, allowing history to unfold around us at a gentle, contemplative pace. There's also a profound humility in engaging with these objects. They remind us that human ingenuity has always been present, often in ways that are invisible or ephemeral. They challenge assumptions of linear progress and invite us to recognize that our ancestors were thinkers, inventors, and observers in ways that continue to inspire awe. In their silent testimony, we find both reassurance and wonder. Reassurance that curiosity is a timeless trait, and wonder at the enduring mysteries that accompany human endeavor. In the quiet of contemplation, artifacts transform from mere objects into touchstones of imagination and reflection. They guide us along a gentle path between history and mystery, revealing the contours of human thought while leaving space for questions that may never be answered. Their presence encourages a slow, mindful appreciation of the past, an invitation to drift through time without pressure or haste. And as we observe them in this reflective way, we begin to notice a subtle continuity between human curiosity across centuries, a thread of inquiry that connects those who made the artifacts to those who contemplate them today. As we leave these enigmatic objects and prepare to explore the ways humans observed and recorded the cosmos, a gentle tension lingers, a tension between the tangible and the inexplicable, between what is known and what remains unseen. The artifacts have opened a door into quiet contemplation, setting the stage for discoveries that extend our imagination even further. They remind us that mystery is not something to be solved immediately, but something to live with, something that enhances our understanding of history through wonder, patience, and reflection. Long before telescopes and satellites allowed us to map the heavens with precision, humans across the globe turned their gaze skyward, seeking to understand the vast expanse above. The night sky was more than a backdrop. It was a canvas of patterns, cycles, and rhythms that guided daily life, influenced rituals, and inspired myth. Ancient peoples observed the movement of the sun, the waxing and waning of the moon, and the passage of stars, creating systems of knowledge that continue to astonish modern scholars. Their understanding, often encoded in monuments, alignments, and ceremonial sites, hints at a deep sophistication that transcends time and invites quiet wonder. In Egypt, the pyramids of Giza are not only architectural marvels, but also celestial instruments of sorts. Their precise alignment with the cardinal points and possible correlation with constellations such as Orion suggest an awareness of the cosmos that extended beyond practical necessity. Similarly, in the deserts of Peru, the Nazca lines may reflect astronomical observations, guiding rituals or mapping seasonal changes in ways that connected Earth and sky. These alignments are subtle, often imperceptible without careful observation, yet they speak to a human desire to bridge the terrestrial and the celestial. As we imagine standing among these ancient observers, tracing constellations across the night sky, a quiet awe emerges, a meditation on human ingenuity and the universal longing to comprehend the cosmos. Observatories and ceremonial sites around the world reveal a shared fascination with celestial cycles. Newgrange in Ireland, with its precise alignment to the winter solstice sunrise, demonstrates that even thousands of years ago, people could calculate the turning of the seasons with remarkable accuracy. Likewise, Chichen Itza in Mexico incorporates astronomical knowledge into its architecture, allowing light and shadow to mark solstices and equinoxes with deliberate precision. Across continents, cultures independently developed methods to track celestial events, suggesting that human curiosity about the universe is not bound by geography, but is a quiet, persistent part of our shared experience. This ancient knowledge of the skies also hints at purposes that remain mysterious. Some scholars suggest that astronomical alignments served ritualistic functions, connecting human activity with cosmic rhythms in ways that reinforced social cohesion or spiritual belief. Others propose practical applications, predicting agricultural cycles, timing ceremonies, or navigating vast landscapes. Whatever the intention, the evidence invites contemplation. It is not necessary to know every detail. The quiet mystery itself is enough to inspire reflection. We can imagine the careful observations, the repeated measurements, and the awe of witnessing celestial events unfold in perfect regularity across generations. The interplay of observation, architecture, and ritual reveals a sophistication that often surprises modern sensibilities. Consider the precision required to construct structures that align with solstices or star paths, achieved without advanced instruments or mathematical notation as we understand them today. The knowledge encoded in these sites was practical, symbolic, and ceremonial all at once, a reminder that ancient humans possessed a keen awareness of their environment and a deep desire to harmonize with it. Their efforts were deliberate, patient, and meticulous, a form of quiet genius that resonates with the calm rhythm of natural cycles. Even more intriguing is the global consistency of some celestial observations. Structures in far-flung regions, separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years, exhibit similar alignments and symbolisms. Circles of stone, pyramids, and ceremonial platforms often mirror patterns observed in the heavens, suggesting that human fascination with the stars is both universal and enduring. These recurring patterns evoke a sense of connection across time and space, as if distant civilizations shared an unspoken dialogue with the cosmos, a whisper of collective understanding that survives in stone, earth, and shadow. The gentle mystery of ancient astronomy is also reflected in artifacts that encoded knowledge of the skies. Celestial diagrams, carvings, and symbols reveal a sophisticated grasp of cycles, eclipses, and planetary movements. These artifacts, sometimes found alongside ritual sites, demonstrate that early astronomers were observers of extraordinary patience and skill. Their work, though often silent, speaks across centuries, inviting us to consider the depth of their insight and the subtle ways in which humans have sought to map the heavens and their place within it. In contemplating these ancient observers, we are drawn into a meditative rhythm. Night after night, generation after generation, humans watched the stars, traced their movements, and sought meaning in their light. Their quiet persistence and attentiveness mirror the contemplative pace we cultivate in listening to history unfold. It is a reminder that knowledge is often built gradually, that observation requires patience, and that wonder arises as much from the act of watching as from the answers discovered. The skies, in their immensity, offer both guidance and mystery, a duality that ancient cultures understood deeply and that we are invited to feel in turn. This awareness also inspires a contrast between modern understanding and ancient perception. Today, telescopes, satellites, and computer models allow us to chart the heavens with incredible accuracy, yet the careful observation of ancient peoples remains profoundly impressive. They achieved clarity without the tools we consider essential, relying instead on observation, intuition, and iterative practice. Their work is a testament to human ingenuity, reminding us that intelligence and curiosity are not modern inventions, but timeless traits woven into the fabric of civilization. As we linger in this space, the quiet poetry of ancient astronomy emerges. Observing how civilizations marked solstices, tracked the movement of celestial bodies, and incorporated the cosmos into ritual and daily life encourages us to adopt a slower, more reflective gaze. The past is not merely a sequence of dates and events, but a canvas of observation, creativity, and curiosity. And in embracing the mystery of what they knew and how they understood the universe, we participate in a gentle dialogue across millennia, a shared wonder at the night sky and its countless enigmas. From here, the journey naturally turns to sacred sites and hidden rituals, where the knowledge of the skies, the earth, and human imagination converge. These locations embody a harmony between human activity and cosmic rhythm, where architecture, ritual, and observation blend into forms that endure through time. The mysteries we encounter in the heavens above are mirrored on the earth below, and as we descend into the realms of temples, tombs, and ceremonial grounds, we continue to move gently through a landscape of wonder, curiosity, and quiet reflection. As humans looked to the heavens, they also created sacred spaces here on Earth, places where the mysteries of life, death, and the cosmos could converge. Temples, tombs, and ceremonial grounds were not merely functional structures. They were carefully designed to honor forces seen and unseen, to embody beliefs, and to bridge the physical and spiritual worlds. From the rolling hills of Ireland to the peaks of the Andes, civilizations constructed sites where ritual, observation, and artistry intertwined. Each site is a quiet testament to human devotion, a pause in time where we can sense the intentions and reverence of those who came long before us. Machu Picchu, perched high in the misted mountains of Peru, exemplifies this harmony of human ingenuity and sacred purpose. The terraces, temples, and water systems were not only practical, but aligned with both the landscape and celestial patterns. Walking through its remains, one can imagine the ceremonies that may have taken place, the festivals and offerings meant to honor both the sun and the earth. Even today, the energy of the place invites contemplation, a gentle pull to reflect on the interconnectedness of human life and the natural world. The site is both monumental and intimate, a space where human creativity meets spiritual intention in quiet conversation. In Europe, Newgrange in Ireland offers another example of sacred space designed with remarkable astronomical precision. The tomb aligns perfectly with the rising sun on the winter solstice, illuminating its inner chamber in a way that must have felt like a direct communication from the heavens. The builders achieved this alignment thousands of years ago without modern instruments, and yet it functions with flawless accuracy. Standing in thought at the entrance, one can imagine the anticipation of those early observers, the ritual significance of light piercing darkness, and the quiet awe it would have inspired. Here, architecture itself becomes a language of devotion and mystery. Far beneath the surface of Malta lies the hypogeum of Hal Saflieni, an underground sanctuary carved with extraordinary care and precision. The chambers and passageways evoke a sense of intimacy and reverence, their walls echoing the voices and footsteps of those who once gathered within. The alignment of certain chambers with sunlight at specific times of the year suggests a deliberate integration of celestial knowledge with ritual practice. It is a space that invites stillness, reflection, and a slow awareness of the continuity between human life, death, and the cosmos. The hypogeum reminds us that sacred architecture is not just about what is seen, but about what is felt, experienced, and imagined. Across continents, sacred sites reveal a common human desire to create spaces that honor forces larger than ourselves. Temples, tombs, and ceremonial grounds often incorporate subtle acoustics, light, and spatial design to evoke awe and introspection. The placement of stones, the angles of chambers, and the integration with natural landscapes suggest that these spaces were carefully conceived to connect human beings with the rhythms of the world and the cosmos. In such places, the ordinary and extraordinary coexist. Daily life, spirituality, and observation are interwoven, producing an experience that transcends time and invites quiet meditation on the intentions of the past. The mysteries within these sites often extend beyond their physical construction. Symbols etched into walls, carvings of animals and deities, and patterns embedded into stone invite interpretation but resist simple explanation. Were these markings functional, guiding ritual, or marking important astronomical events? Or were they symbolic, meant to encode knowledge, belief, or memory in a form only fully understood by those who created them? We may never know definitively, and yet the ambiguity itself fosters contemplation. The unknown becomes a gentle companion, encouraging us to explore the meaning in our imagination and to connect across centuries with those who left these traces. Sacred sites also demonstrate the deep relationship between humans and their environment. Many are carefully aligned with rivers, mountains, or natural light, suggesting a profound awareness of natural forces and cycles. These sites were not isolated. They were part of a larger worldview in which the human, the earthly, and the celestial were intertwined. In contemplating these places, we sense a philosophy embedded in stone and soil, a quiet recognition of humanity's place within a broader, interconnected universe. It is a rhythm of observation and reverence, patience and devotion that resonates across time. Even without fully understanding the rituals performed within these sacred spaces, we can feel the intention behind them. The silence, the alignment of stones, and the careful design all speak to an understanding of life and nature that was both practical and symbolic. These sites were places of gathering, contemplation, and memory, connecting communities with the cycles of the earth and sky. In this sense, they are more than relics. They are living echoes, inviting us to experience a slower, deeper awareness of human history, belief, and the subtle mysteries that persist. As we leave these ceremonial grounds and prepare to encounter human remains that tell strange tales, the continuity of mystery becomes clear. The sacred sites, like the stars above and the artifacts in our hands, remind us that human history is composed of both tangible achievement and enduring enigma. They serve as a bridge from observation to reflection, from external monuments to intimate traces of human life, guiding us gently toward the next layer of history's mysteries, the bodies, burials, and physical traces that challenge what we think we know about humanity itself. As we move from sacred spaces to the very human traces left behind, we encounter remains that speak softly yet insistently across the centuries. Human bones, mummified bodies, and burial sites often reveal details of life, death, and belief that defy easy explanation. They are intimate records of existence, containing clues about health, social hierarchy, ritual practice, and even knowledge that seems advanced for their time. Unlike monuments or artifacts, these remains remind us of the fragility of life. Yet they endure, offering a quiet dialogue with those who once lived and prompting reflection on what it means to leave a mark on the world. The mummies of ancient Egypt are perhaps the most famous example. Yet even here, mysteries abound. Beyond the rituals of preservation, there is evidence of medical knowledge that challenges our assumptions. Some mummies reveal surgical procedures, sophisticated embalming techniques, and an understanding of anatomy that modern researchers are still striving to comprehend. The preparation of these bodies was more than a practical matter. It was a deeply spiritual act, a method of guiding the deceased into an afterlife. In contemplating these carefully preserved forms, we sense both the reverence of the living and the stories of those who have passed, suspended in a state between life and eternity. Moving westward, the bog bodies of northern Europe provide another layer of enigma. Found in peat bogs, these bodies have been preserved with astonishing detail, sometimes retaining skin, hair, and clothing for thousands of years. Many exhibit signs of ritualistic death or sacrifice, their final moments frozen in time. The context of these burials often raises more questions than answers. Why were they placed in bogs? What ceremonies accompanied their deaths? And what beliefs motivated such practices? In their stillness, the bog bodies speak to us not through words, but through presence, prompting a quiet contemplation of mortality, ritual, and the human desire to leave meaning in the midst of life's impermanence. In other parts of the world, burial sites reveal unusual practices that continue to puzzle researchers. In Peru, for instance, ancient graves contain textiles, ceramics, and even food items carefully arranged with the deceased, hinting at a complex understanding of the afterlife and the needs of the spirit. In China, elaborate tombs of early emperors display intricate construction, hidden chambers, and treasures meant to accompany rulers beyond death. These sites are not merely resting places. They are statements of belief, power, and continuity, constructed with precision and care, and infused with mysteries that challenge our understanding of the societies that created them. The study of human remains also reveals evidence of long-distance trade, migration, and interaction between cultures. Isotopic analysis and DNA studies suggest that ancient populations were more interconnected than previously believed, challenging simple narratives of isolated civilizations. These findings, while scientific in nature, carry a poetic resonance. They remind us that humans have always been explorers, communicators, and learners, leaving traces that extend beyond individual lifetimes and geographical boundaries. The remains themselves become messengers from the past, bridging centuries with quiet testimony. Yet some discoveries go even further, bordering on the inexplicable. Skeletons with unusual proportions, burial practices that defy cultural norms, or anatomical anomalies preserved over millennia raise questions that conventional history struggles to answer. Were these simply natural variations, or did they hold special meaning for the communities that buried them? Did they represent revered individuals, spiritual intermediaries, or simply anomalies that inspired awe and ritual? The ambiguity of these remains creates a space for reflection rather than resolution, a gentle invitation to sit with mystery and imagine the possibilities across time. The presence of human remains also evokes a sense of shared mortality, a reminder that across centuries, people have lived, loved, labored, and died much as we do today. The quiet beauty of these discoveries lies in their ability to connect us to the past on an intimate level. They are not abstract monuments, but tangible reminders that human curiosity, creativity, and ritual extend through every life, and that even in death, individuals can leave traces that provoke wonder, study, and reflection. The continuity between past and present is felt most poignantly in the stillness of these remains. Interpreting these remains requires patience and imagination. Archaeologists, historians, and scientists piece together clues from bones, textiles, artifacts, and environmental context, constructing narratives that may only partially capture the truth. And yet, the partial understanding itself is enough to inspire quiet fascination. The gaps, uncertainties, and ambiguities invite us to linger, to consider the lies behind the remains, and to reflect on how history is experienced not only through grand events, but through the ordinary and extraordinary moments of individual existence. In this meditation, we begin to see that human remains are a bridge between the tangible and the unknown. They offer insights into diet, disease, and daily life. Yet they also preserve mysteries that defy explanation, reminding us that history is as much about questions as it is about answers. Each discovery is a moment to pause, to breathe, and to engage with the past in a way that is contemplative rather than urgent. We are not here to solve every puzzle. We are here to inhabit it, allowing the presence of those who came before to guide our reflections and expand our imagination. As we leave the silent chambers of tombs and the still bodies preserved in bogs, we carry forward a sense of reverence for the human story, with all its clarity and ambiguity. These remains, like sacred sites and artifacts, encourage a meditative awareness of history's depth and the mysteries that endure. They invite us to slow our pace, to consider both the known and the unknowable, and to recognize that human ingenuity, ritual, and creativity are constants that link past and present. With these reflections, we are gently prepared to explore the final layers of mystery, enigmatic artifacts, unexplained structures, and discoveries that continue to challenge everything we think we know. The journey through human history, from monumental architecture to celestial observation to intimate remains, has revealed a world rich in both achievement and enigma, a landscape where curiosity, imagination, and reflection converge in a slow, contemplative rhythm that soothes and fascinates in equal measure. Beyond human remains, history's mysteries often take the form of structures and artifacts that defy explanation, challenging our understanding of what ancient civilizations were capable of. Across the globe, we encounter sites that appear far ahead of their time, their construction, design, and purpose inviting quiet contemplation and wonder. From massive stone formations to intricate mechanical objects, these anomalies prompt us to ask the same gentle question again and again. How did they achieve this and why? The answers, often elusive, are secondary to the experience of pondering the possibilities and allowing curiosity to drift slowly, like sunlight across ancient stones. In the mountains of Peru, the city of Ollantaytambo preserves terraces, temples, and walls of perfectly fitted stones whose precision seems impossible given the tools likely available to its builders. Each stone appears carefully shaped and aligned, resisting even modern attempts to replicate the craftsmanship. Scholars debate whether the construction methods involved advanced engineering techniques, lost knowledge, or a combination of extraordinary skill and ingenuity. As we imagine the labor and planning involved, the site becomes more than a collection of rocks. It becomes a meditation on human perseverance and creativity, a silent conversation across centuries that invites us to pause and reflect on the capabilities of those who came before. Across the seas, The Moai statues of Easter Island stand as sentinels of human determination, their massive forms carved from volcanic stone and transported across challenging terrain. The purpose of these statues remains a topic of debate. Were they representations of ancestors, spiritual guardians, or symbols of power and status? And how did the islanders move such immense structures with seemingly simple technology? The questions linger in the mind, fostering a quiet sense of awe at both the physical achievement and a mystery surrounding the intention behind it. Each statue is a testament not only to human skill, but to imagination, ambition, and the desire to connect with something beyond the tangible. Mechanical artifacts also raise profound questions about the limits of ancient knowledge. The Antikythera mechanism, a device discovered in a shipwreck off the coast of Greece, demonstrates an advanced understanding of astronomy and mathematics that seems almost miraculous for its time. Its intricate gears calculated celestial cycles with astonishing accuracy, suggesting that knowledge of the cosmos was far more sophisticated than previously assumed. Artifacts like this challenge the linear narrative of technological progress, reminding us that the past may hold secrets we are only beginning to understand, and that ingenuity is not confined to modern civilization. Similarly, the stone constructions at Puma Punku in Bolivia puzzle archaeologists with their precise cuts, perfectly aligned blocks, and interlocking joints. Many of these stones are massive, yet they fit together with a precision that modern engineers struggle to replicate, even with advanced machinery. The site raises questions about the methods, tools, and knowledge that must have existed to create such a structure. When we imagine the process, from quarrying to placement, a sense of quiet amazement emerges, a recognition of human skill and patience that transcends time. The mystery is not only technical but philosophical. What motivated such labor, and what knowledge guided its execution? These enigmatic structures often share a common quality: the interplay of the known and the unknown. We can measure, analyze, and theorize, yet a sense of wonder remains, rooted in questions that have no definitive answers. The ambiguity encourages reflection rather than resolution. It invites us to inhabit the space between fact and mystery, to imagine the intentions, rituals, and knowledge systems of the builders. In doing so, we engage in a dialogue across time, tracing the faint outlines of civilizations whose achievements challenge conventional expectations. Even smaller artifacts can evoke a similar sense of awe. Intricately carved figurines, mysterious tablets, and undeciphered inscriptions suggest the existence of knowledge, culture, and communication that has been partially lost. Each object carries within it a story, or perhaps a question, waiting to be discovered, or perhaps never fully answered. Holding these in our imagination, we are reminded that human history is not a straightforward chronicle of events, but a tapestry woven from countless acts of curiosity, creativity, and intention. Mystery is not an interruption of history. It is woven into its very fabric. The global distribution of these anomalies also underscores the universality of human ingenuity. From South America to the Pacific Islands, from the deserts of Egypt to the highlands of Asia, humans have consistently challenged the limits of their environment, leaving traces that continue to fascinate. These sites and artifacts suggest that creativity, technical skill, and the desire to leave a lasting mark are traits shared across cultures and continents. They create a quiet resonance that links the distant past to the present, inviting reflection on the continuity of human curiosity and ambition. As we explore these structures and artifacts, a subtle rhythm emerges: observation, admiration, and contemplation. We move gently through landscapes shaped by human hands, considering not only the physical achievement, but the human imagination that inspired it. The mystery does not need to be solved in order to be meaningful. It is the act of noticing, imagining, and reflecting that creates a profound connection with the past. In this way, history becomes more than knowledge. It becomes experience, an invitation to engage with wonder in a slow, meditative way. Ultimately, These enigmatic sites and objects remind us that the past is both vast and intricate, filled with achievements and questions that continue to challenge our assumptions. They invite us to walk softly among the remnants of human endeavor, to feel the weight of time, and to embrace curiosity without urgency. Each stone, each artifact, each mechanical device or carved figure carries the echo of intention, imagination, and possibility. And as we linger in their presence, a calm awareness settles in. The mysteries of the past are not puzzles to be solved quickly, but companions to guide us on a quiet journey through history, wonder, and reflection. Beneath the gentle rise and fall of the ocean's surface lies a world both silent and profound, a world that has held its secrets for millennia. Sunlight penetrates only so far, fading into shades of deep blue, leaving the mind to imagine vast ruins hidden beneath the waves. Across the coasts of continents long familiar, remnants of civilizations lie submerged, their stones and temples quietly enduring the embrace of the sea. In these watery graves, the past has not vanished, but merely retreated, waiting for those patient enough to uncover it, fragment by fragment, layer by layer. The notion of lost cities beneath the waves evokes both wonder and melancholy. In some places, entire towns, once bustling with life, are now home only to fish and corals. Streets that carried the footsteps of merchants, children, and priests have surrendered to the ocean's currents. Each submerged stone hints at a life abruptly interrupted, a story interrupted by rising tides, shifting land, or sudden cataclysms. The mind is left to drift between imagination and archaeology, imagining marketplaces now empty, temples now silent, and the hum of daily life reduced to nothing but echoes in the mind. Among these submerged ruins, some are almost shockingly familiar, as if history itself has deliberately hidden clues in plain sight. Off the coast of Japan, for example, the terraces and walls of Yonaguni lie partially visible beneath the water, their purpose and origins hotly debated. Some see these formations as natural, sculpted by centuries of ocean currents and tectonic shifts. Others cannot help but wonder if a lost civilization carved them deliberately, leaving messages in stone that time and tide have yet to erase. The question lingers, unspoken, like the quiet thrum of the ocean itself. What stories have been swallowed by the sea, waiting for curious eyes to rediscover them? The Mediterranean, two whispers of vanished worlds. Ancient ports, long submerged, hint at trade routes once vibrant with merchants bringing spices, metals, and ideas from distant lands. Some of these cities sank slowly, perhaps under the weight of tectonic movements or gradual sea level rise, while others may have succumbed to sudden cataclysms, their final moments lost to history. Archaeologists dive into these depths with lanterns of modern technology, using sonar mapping and submersible robots to reveal what the naked eye cannot see. Even so, each discovery seems to raise more questions than it answers. Why were these cities built so close to water that they would ultimately disappear beneath it? What daily lives, hopes, and fears were extinguished when the sea claimed them? There is a profound contrast in observing these submerged landscapes. The permanence of the ocean versus the fragility of human endeavors. Water, patient and unyielding, reshapes everything over centuries. Stones once carefully placed by human hands are now worn smooth. Streets vanish beneath sand and sediment, and entire neighborhoods disappear under layers of mud. Yet in this slow transformation, there's also a quiet poetry. The ocean does not destroy in anger. It preserves in patience. Artifacts, walls, and sculptures often survive surprisingly intact, giving us glimpses into the architecture, art, and lives of people we will never meet. These remnants, suspended between destruction and preservation, remind us that history is never truly lost. It simply waits for the right moment, or the right observer, to re-emerge. Diving into these sunken cities, even in imagination, requires a shift in perspective. The mind must slow, the senses attuned to the subtle movements of water, the muted sounds that reach the ear, and the gentle sway of marine life among the ruins. Fish glide through archways where humans once walked. Corals cling to columns that once supported roofs, and shells settle on stone streets. The past and present coexist in a delicate balance, a quiet dialogue between the living and the long gone. For the sleep-friendly listener, this imagery is both soothing and endlessly intriguing, a world that is quiet, slow, and inviting contemplation rather than urgency. The mysteries of these underwater civilizations extend beyond their sudden disappearance. Some ruins suggest connections with cultures far removed in distance or time. Artifacts found in submerged harbors sometimes resemble those from distant lands, hinting at trade, migration, or even shared knowledge across oceans. The mind is invited to consider a network of human activity far more complex than the fragments left on land would suggest. Each discovery beneath the waves challenges our understanding of ancient life, reminding us that what we know is only a fraction of what once was. Even as sonar and satellite imaging reveal more, the ocean continues to conceal as much as it reveals, a silent guardian of the unknown. There is also an element of human imagination woven into these mysteries. Many of the stories about sunken cities, whether whispered in myths or retold in modern documentaries, reflect a timeless fascination with loss, the inexorable passage of time, and the unknown. Legends of Atlantis, though unproven, capture the same feeling that archaeologists experience when they encounter submerged terraces, sunken streets, or intact walls under layers of silt. These narratives, both historical and mythical, create a bridge between empirical discovery and the poetic contemplation of what lies beneath, allowing the listener to drift comfortably between fact and fantasy. Even the act of exploration itself is gentle and mesmerizing. Submersibles move slowly, illuminating stone carvings, intricate mosaics, or vessels half buried in sediment. Each discovery is a quiet revelation, a moment of wonder without urgency. The ocean muffles noise, creating an atmosphere of calm, where curiosity thrives without tension. Observing a sunken city becomes less about proving a theory and more about simply witnessing the persistence of human creativity against the slow, indifferent power of nature. It is a meditation on survival, memory, and impermanence as the ocean cradles history in its endless tides. Perhaps most compelling is the reminder that the past is not always linear. Cities and settlements may have been forgotten, not because they lacked significance, but because time, nature, and human memory reshaped the landscape. What lies beneath the sea challenges assumptions about how civilizations develop, endure, and vanish. It suggests that history is not merely written in books or etched in stone on land, but also hidden in the quiet, fluid depths, waiting for patient eyes to recognize its contours. For a listener lying in bed, this offers both a gentle intrigue and a comforting perspective that the world holds infinite stories, some visible, some concealed, and all part of a greater, silent narrative. As the mind drifts along these underwater pathways, there's a sense of calm continuity. Sunken cities are not lost in chaos, but transformed, their stories reshaped by water and time. Each wave, each current, carries fragments of memory, a whispered testimony to human ambition, creativity, and fragility. And while the ocean guards its secrets jealously, it also invites quiet reflection, offering a space where imagination can wander and curiosity can drift freely, unhurried and serene. The mysteries beneath the waves are not pressing or alarming. They are soft, persistent reminders of the depth and complexity of human history, a lullaby from the past that encourages contemplation and gentle wonder. Across the span of human history, civilizations have risen with brilliance and fallen with quiet inevitability. Some declines came slowly, almost imperceptibly, as climates shifted and resources dwindled, while others arrived with sudden, dramatic force, leaving behind ruins and stories half erased by time. The evidence of these ancient cataclysms, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, earthquakes, and shifts in climate, speaks to the delicate balance upon which civilizations depend. It is a humbling reminder that human ingenuity, while remarkable, exists within a vast and unpredictable natural world. The listener is gently guided to reflect on the fragility of human endeavor, imagining how entire societies might vanish, leaving only traces beneath sand, ash, or stone. Volcanic eruptions, for instance, have shaped the course of history in ways both visible and hidden. In some cases, cities were buried under layers of ash, preserving their forms almost perfectly, as though time itself had paused to memorialize them. Streets, homes, and temples lay frozen in moments of sudden catastrophe, capturing everyday life in haunting detail. The eruption of Thera, which may have influenced the fall of the Minoan civilization, or the eruptions in what is now Central America, illustrates how natural forces can abruptly alter the trajectory of human culture. There is a quiet tension in knowing that what seems eternal, the stone streets, the well-built homes, the bustling marketplaces, can be silenced in an instant by forces beyond comprehension. Similarly, tsunamis and rising seas have silently reshaped coastlines, swallowing settlements without warning. Port cities, once alive with commerce and communication, now lie submerged beneath gentle waves, their existence hinted at only by occasional artifacts or sonar scans. The imagination is invited to wander through these lost landscapes. Ships resting on the ocean floor, fragments of pottery scattered across sand-covered streets, and temples half submerged, their stone walls echoing the lives of those who once worshipped there. Unlike the sudden violence of a volcanic eruption, the sea's power is patient, slowly reclaiming what humans created, transforming familiar spaces into quiet, reflective worlds beneath the surface. Earthquakes and shifting tectonic plates, too, have left their indelible marks. Entire regions have been uplifted or sunk over centuries, altering river courses, burying villages, or splitting towns apart. In some cases, the evidence is subtle: tilted walls, fractured foundations, or ruined aqueducts. But the implications are profound. Human beings are reminded that permanence is a fragile illusion. Even the most ambitious constructions, built to last for centuries, may bend or break under the Earth's slow, relentless movements. For a listener, these details are not alarming but meditative, evoking a sense of awe at the slow, almost imperceptible forces that shape history. The narrative also touches on climatic shifts, droughts, prolonged cooling periods, or sudden changes in rainfall patterns that may have contributed to societal collapse. Agricultural systems, the backbone of early civilizations, were particularly vulnerable. When the rains failed or rivers dried, entire regions experienced famine, social unrest, and the gradual abandonment of once thriving settlements. Unlike dramatic disasters, these changes unfolded over decades or centuries, a quiet erosion of stability that is both fascinating and melancholic. The mind is invited to imagine fields lying fallow, granaries empty, and communities dispersing slowly, their knowledge and traditions fading with each passing generation. Amidst these tales of decline, there is also a subtle celebration of human resilience. Even when societies collapsed, fragments of culture, art, and knowledge persisted, often resurfacing in new contexts. Sometimes survivors carried memories of lost cities into new lands, shaping architecture, myth, and social organization in subtle ways. This interplay between destruction and continuity adds depth to our understanding of history, reminding listeners that the past is never fully erased. Instead, it transforms, leaving traces that hint at both human vulnerability and enduring creativity. The juxtaposition of human fragility with the immense power of nature is central to this meditation. Mountains rise and fall, rivers shift course, oceans reclaim land, and yet the artifacts of human civilization remain as quiet witnesses. A fallen column, a cracked statue, or a half-buried wall embodies both the impermanence of human life and the persistence of memory. These remnants invite reflection rather than urgency. For a listener seeking calm and contemplation, imagining these scenes is like stepping into a slow-motion dance between earth, water, and human endeavor, where each element has its own rhythm, unhurried yet inexorable. There is also a profound contrast in perspective when considering ancient collapses. From a modern vantage point, we can observe these events through archaeology, geology, and climate science, reconstructing timelines and theories with a measure of certainty. Yet the experiences of those who lived through them remain largely unknowable. What did it feel like to see crops fail year after year, to hear distant tremors that foretold destruction, to watch neighbors abandon homes while one clung to survival? These human stories, partially lost, are recreated only in imagination, allowing listeners to inhabit a liminal space between fact and empathetic speculation. It is a space both soothing and thought-provoking, a quiet bridge between knowledge and mystery. The gentle narration encourages a visual and sensory immersion. One might imagine ash settling softly over rooftops, waves lapping at sunken streets, or dust swirling through abandoned marketplaces. These images, while rooted in real events, carry a dreamlike quality, transforming historical calamities into contemplative scenes that are rich in texture and atmosphere. The sounds of distant thunder, the murmur of wind, or the slow drip of water in caves create an auditory backdrop that enhances relaxation while sustaining curiosity. The listener is drawn into a world where learning and imagination coexist seamlessly, where the slow passage of time is as compelling as the events themselves. Ultimately, this exploration of ancient catastrophes is not intended to frighten, but to inspire reflection. It invites the listener to consider the delicate interplay of human ambition and natural forces, the fleeting nature of our achievements, and the quiet persistence of memory preserved in stone, ash, and sediment. The slow unraveling of civilizations under natural pressures reminds us that history is not linear, nor is it entirely under our control. It is a narrative written jointly by human hands and the enduring rhythms of the earth. As the mind drifts along these reflections, there is a sense of gentle closure to this chapter of exploration. The disasters, though immense, are framed within the larger continuity of life and history. The ruins speak not only of endings, but also of transformations, carrying lessons across time and silence. Listeners are left with an awareness of the profound fragility and resilience inherent in human history, a quiet appreciation for the forces that shape our world, and a calm curiosity for the mysteries that remain hidden. The narrative fades softly, guiding the mind toward the next phase of discovery, where submerged cities and collapsed civilizations continue to whisper, inviting contemplation in a tranquil, sleep-friendly cadence. Among the countless remnants of ancient civilizations, there exist objects that defy explanation, artifacts that challenge the very frameworks historians and archaeologists have built to understand the past. These items are not merely old. They are enigmatic, often beautifully crafted, yet incongruent with the time and place in which they were discovered. Holding one in the imagination is like holding a fragment of a dream, tangible yet elusive, familiar yet inexplicably alien. Each artifact carries with it the quiet weight of questions. Who made it? For what purpose? And how did it come to exist in a world that, by all conventional understanding, should not have possessed such knowledge or skill? These artifacts become silent interlocutors with history, offering no clear answers, only whispers of possibility. Take, for instance, the Antikythera mechanism, a device recovered from a shipwreck off the coast of Greece. Its gears and dials reveal a precision and sophistication that rival modern engineering. How could an ancient society, centuries before the Industrial Revolution, have conceived such a complex instrument? Was it an isolated marvel, or a relic of knowledge now largely lost. The mechanism invites both awe and gentle speculation. It is a quiet puzzle, its motions frozen in time, yet hinting at the rhythms of the cosmos that ancient humans sought to understand. Imagining the hands of a skilled craftsman, carefully cutting gears and calibrating celestial movements, the mind drifts into wonder, a soft curiosity that is both intellectual and meditative. Similarly, the Baghdad Battery offers a tantalizing glimpse into potential ancient technological sophistication. These small clay vessels, seemingly mundane, appear to function as rudimentary electrochemical cells. Could ancient peoples have harnessed electricity in some form, long before modern science? The evidence is fragmentary, the answers uncertain, yet the artifact itself endures, a quiet testament to human ingenuity and experimentation. As the mind lingers on the possibility, one can almost sense the tentative curiosity of the ancient hands that created it, experimenting with phenomena that would not be fully understood for millennia. It is a gentle meditation on human curiosity across time, emphasizing that the quest for understanding is as old as civilization itself. Beyond the realms of mechanics and technology, there are objects of a more artistic and symbolic nature that puzzle as profoundly as the technical marvels. Stone carvings depicting beings or objects that seem out of place or time appear in numerous locations around the world. Some show advanced anatomical understanding, intricate artistry, or abstract concepts that suggest a depth of thought and perception often assumed to be absent in certain periods. These artifacts provoke questions not of capability alone, but of cultural awareness, creativity, and the transmission of ideas. They suggest that ancient peoples engaged in intellectual and artistic pursuits as sophisticated as any modern civilization. Yet their creations remain enigmatic, their meanings partially hidden beneath the veil of time. What makes these artifacts so compelling is the contrast they create between expectation and reality. We expect ancient objects to reflect a linear progression of human knowledge, yet these enigmatic pieces resist such categorization. They hint at alternative narratives of civilizations experimenting, observing, and innovating in ways that mainstream history may not fully recognize. There is no need for alarm or sensationalism. The fascination lies in subtlety, in the quiet recognition that the past may have been more intricate, more interconnected, and more inventive than we often allow ourselves to imagine. The artifacts are like gentle invitations, coaxing the mind to linger over details, notice the fine craftsmanship, and appreciate the ingenuity without urgency or pressure. Many of these objects are small, easily overlooked, yet they hold the power to transform understanding. A tiny carved stone, a metal object of unknown function, or a fragment of pottery with strange inscriptions, each has the potential to shift our perception of ancient life. The mind is invited to trace every curve, every groove, to imagine the hands that shaped it and the context in which it existed. Was it utilitarian, ceremonial, or something entirely beyond our comprehension? The uncertainty is not frustrating, but rather soothing, a space where imagination and curiosity blend gently, where the listener can explore possibilities at a relaxed pace. In addition to technical marvels, there are objects whose very presence challenges chronology. Out-of-place artifacts, or OO parts, appear in various parts of the world. Tools, carvings, or remnants of construction that do not align neatly with accepted timelines. These items suggest that human history may not be as straightforward as textbooks imply, that ingenuity, migration, and knowledge may have flourished in unexpected ways. Archaeologists continue to debate these items, some dismissing them as coincidences or misinterpretations, others seeing them as clues to lost civilizations or forgotten knowledge. For the listener, this is not a source of debate or contention, but a gentle exploration of the mysteries that persist quietly in the shadows of history. Artifacts also speak to the universality of human curiosity and creativity. Across continents, from Asia to the Americas, from Africa to Europe, They're objects that reflect experimentation, observation, and a desire to manipulate the natural world. Whether in metallurgy, stonework, pottery, or early forms of navigation, these items reveal patterns of thought that transcend geography and culture. In the calm, immersive narration of these discoveries, the listener begins to sense a soft continuity, a thread of human inquiry weaving across time and space. The objects are not isolated anomalies. They are part of a broader tapestry of human effort, experimentation, and wonder. The physicality of these artifacts is also evocative. A smooth, worn stone, the faint rust of an ancient metal, or the faint etchings on a clay fragment can convey a tactile intimacy. Imagining the sensation of holding them, the weight, the texture, the contours worn by centuries, fosters a quiet meditation on the passage of time. Each object becomes a bridge between past and present, a tactile connection to people long gone, yet whose presence lingers softly through what they left behind. The listener, enveloped in this imagery, is drawn into a contemplative state, where curiosity flows naturally and sleep-friendly tranquility persists. In many ways, the enduring power of these objects lies in their mystery. They resist definitive explanation, refusing to be fully categorized or explained away. This resistance is not a limitation, but an invitation. It encourages patience, reflection, and a slow, deliberate attention to detail. It asks the listener to slow down, to notice subtleties, to appreciate the ingenuity and creativity inherent in human history, even when the full context remains elusive. In this gentle engagement, the artifacts become more than historical objects. They become companions in a quiet exploration of time, intellect, and imagination. Ultimately, the artifacts that defy explanation are reminders of the richness and complexity of human history. They encourage a balance of wonder and humility, curiosity and contemplation. They exist as soft echoes of human thought, quietly challenging assumptions while fostering appreciation for the ingenuity, creativity, and adaptability of civilizations long past. In their silence, they speak volumes, inviting the listener to drift through possibilities, to imagine what was, what might have been, and what remains just beyond our understanding. As the mind lingers on these enigmatic objects, there is a soothing rhythm to their stories. Questions arise gently, never pressing, allowing the imagination to roam freely without urgency. The Antikythera mechanism, the Baghdad battery, and countless other mysterious artifacts create a landscape of quiet marvels, each one a testament to human curiosity, creativity, and the enduring allure of the unknown. They remind a listener that history is not only what is recorded and explained, but also what remains hidden, waiting to be discovered, pondered, and appreciated in serene reflection. Across the vast expanse of human history, subtle connections sometimes appear between civilizations separated by thousands of miles and centuries of time. It is in these whispers of similarity, these faint echoes, that we begin to sense a quiet continuity running through the story of humankind. Architectural forms, symbolic motifs, and mythological themes emerge in distant lands, hinting that ideas may have traveled farther than the footsteps of ordinary people or the ships of traders would suggest. From gently carved motifs on stone to the soaring arches of temples, these similarities inspire reflection rather than urgency, inviting the mind to drift gently over the possibilities. Consider the unexpected parallels between pyramidal structures in Mesoamerica and those in Egypt. While thousands of miles and millennia separate these sites, there exists a common desire to reach skyward, to create enduring monuments that speak to both power and spirituality. Similarly, some mythological motifs, a serpent or a great flood, for example, appear in stories from multiple continents, as if human imagination, grappling with the same natural forces and existential questions, arrived at comparable symbols independently or through forgotten pathways of knowledge. These subtle connections do not demand explanation. Instead, they encourage curiosity, a quiet wonder at the breadth of human experience. Trade routes, both over land and across the oceans, may have played a role in these shared ideas, carrying seeds, goods, and cultural practices from one region to another. Even where direct contact is uncertain, the echoes of knowledge hint at networks that span great distances. Observing these connections softly challenges our perception of isolation. Civilizations were not entirely solitary. They existed within broader frameworks of observation, experimentation, and communication, leaving behind traces that linger like gentle ripples across time. This perspective allows listeners to appreciate the depth of human ingenuity without feeling overwhelmed by unanswered questions. In some cases, symbols and artistic motifs suggest an awareness of the cosmos, mathematics, or natural phenomena that transcended geography. Alignments of structures with celestial events appear on multiple continents, hinting that the observation of the heavens may have been a universal concern. These insights are framed not as definitive answers, but as contemplative invitations, encouraging the listener to imagine astronomers, priests, or artisans silently measuring the skies, calibrating their monuments, and embedding knowledge into stone. There is a serene beauty in this shared human effort, a soft reminder that curiosity and wonder are threads connecting distant cultures across time and space. The quiet appeal of these continental whispers lies in their subtlety. Unlike dramatic events or spectacular ruins, these connections are delicate, almost imperceptible, requiring a patient mind to notice. They encourage reflection rather than action, inviting the imagination to explore gently. Perhaps a carved symbol in one corner of the world resonates with a similar carving thousands of miles away, hinting at shared observation, shared purpose, or shared inspiration. These faint harmonies are not proof of anything conclusive. They are invitations to linger, to breathe slowly, and to contemplate the quiet coherence of human creativity across the globe. In this meditative exploration, the listener can imagine tracing these invisible threads of human thought. One can picture travelers carrying ideas in subtle forms, through stories, through craft, through careful observation, and leaving them for others to discover generations later. There is an inherent softness to this process, a patient unfolding of connections that stretches across centuries. The mind is encouraged to drift, noticing patterns, appreciating creativity, and marveling at the gentle, enduring persistence of human curiosity. Ultimately, these whispers across continents remind us that history is rarely isolated. Even in ancient times, human minds were not confined by geography. They observed, experimented, and shared, leaving traces that continue to speak to us today, if only we listen with patience and openness. In the calm, immersive space of the listener's imagination, these subtle echoes become a bridge, linking past to present, near to far, known to unknown. The sense of quiet interconnectedness fosters a meditative state, allowing curiosity to flourish in a gentle, sleep-friendly rhythm, preparing the mind for the mysteries yet to come. Even as we trace the tangible remnants of human history, there exists a shadowed domain, a realm of enduring mysteries that archaeology has yet to explain. These are the places and objects that defy categorization, that elude the neat narratives of textbooks, and that whisper their secrets only to the patient observer. They are sites still partially unexplored, artifacts whose purpose remains unclear, and symbols whose meaning has been lost to time. In these shadows, the line between the known and the unknown blurs gently, offering a contemplative space where curiosity can wander without urgency, where imagination and knowledge intermingle softly, like the last light fading over a distant horizon. Across deserts, forests, mountains, and oceans, these enigmatic sites appear in quiet defiance of easy explanation. Stone circles with alignments that match celestial events, buried cities whose foundations suggest sophisticated planning, and artifacts that seem impossibly advanced for their time all form a tapestry of questions that remain unresolved. Each mystery stands in contrast to the familiar narratives of human development, hinting at a complexity and ingenuity that challenges assumptions about progress, capability, and cultural exchange. The listener is invited to wander through these enigmas slowly, imagining the distant past as both familiar and unknowable, a space where the mind can explore freely without the urgency of conclusion. Consider the labyrinthine ruins tucked away in remote jungles, where trees grow through stone walls and wildlife has claimed what human hands once shaped. Temples, pyramids, and ceremonial platforms rise from the earth, partially concealed by centuries of growth. The purpose of some structures is evident. Others seem deliberately obscure, as though they were designed to conceal as much as to reveal. Archaeologists and historians have posited theories, astronomical observatories, ritual centers of trade, but certainty remains elusive. The uncertainty itself becomes a source of calm intrigue. The mind, free from the pressure to solve, drifts gently among possibilities, envisioning the ceremonies, gatherings, or knowledge that may have unfolded within these shadowed spaces. Artifacts, too, resist full understanding. Some contain technology seemingly beyond their era, while others bear inscriptions that defy translation. The Voynich manuscript, with its intricate, undeciphered script, is a prime example. It is neither purely visual nor entirely textual. Its meaning hovers just beyond reach, teasing the mind with the possibility of hidden knowledge. Similarly, carved stones, metal objects, and ceramics found in various corners of the globe appear anomalous, challenging timelines and conventional historical narratives. These objects are quiet provocateurs, prompting gentle reflection rather than urgency. They remind the listener that history is not only what is documented or understood, but also what remains tantalizingly out of reach. There is a meditative quality to exploring these shadows. Unlike dramatic discoveries that demand immediate attention, unresolved mysteries allow the mind to linger, to notice subtleties, to appreciate the texture of history as it resists being fully captured. Imagining these sites, one might picture corridors partially collapsed, stones worn smooth by wind and rain, or carvings eroded by centuries of exposure. Light filters softly through gaps, casting shifting shadows across walls and floors, revealing fragments of patterns, symbols, and art. It is a space of quiet contemplation, where the act of observation itself becomes the reward, and the unknown is not feared but embraced as a source of wonder. The contrast between meticulous archaeological work and the vast expanse of what remains unseen is particularly compelling. Excavation is slow, deliberate, and methodical. Yet no matter how carefully studied, much remains hidden. Buried chambers may await discovery beneath layers of sediment. Inscriptions may remain partially obscured or undeciphered. Connections between sites and artifacts may never be fully reconstructed. In this tension between knowledge and the unknown lies a profound invitation for reflection. The listener can imagine themselves standing at the threshold of a hidden chamber, sensing its age and significance, yet understanding that its full story may remain forever elusive. Natural forces also play a role in maintaining these mysteries. Earthquakes, floods, erosion, and vegetation slowly obscure what human hands built, ensuring that some knowledge is preserved only partially, tantalizingly incomplete. The slow reclamation of human constructions by nature serves as a gentle reminder of impermanence, emphasizing the patience required to uncover history. It also creates a rhythm conducive to meditation. The mind can drift from one speculation to another, exploring possibilities without pressure, allowing the imagination to wander in harmony with the slow passage of time. Even cultural transmission adds to the sense of mystery. Some sites bear uncanny resemblances to others thousands of miles away, yet no evidence exists to suggest direct contact. Symbols recur, architectural techniques echo, and ceremonial patterns appear to resonate across distant regions. These similarities evoke subtle questions: coincidence or connection, independent innovation or forgotten knowledge shared in ways now lost. The questions themselves, posed softly and without demand, become part of the meditative experience, inviting contemplation rather than resolution. There is a human dimension to these shadows as well. The people who built, used, and inhabited these spaces lived, loved, and dreamed, leaving behind traces that survive only in fragments. A half-buried tool, a carved figure, or the remnants of a hearth conveys daily life alongside mystery. The mind can imagine the rhythms of these ancient lives, the steps taken across stone floors, the hands raised in ritual, the voices murmuring in corridors now silent. In doing so, listeners experience not fear or confusion, but a gentle empathy, a connection across time that is both soothing and profoundly enriching. Ultimately, the shadows of the unknown remind us that history is never fully grasped. The tension between what is known and what remains hidden creates a space for reflection, curiosity, and imagination. These unresolved mysteries are not failures of understanding. They are invitations to linger, to notice the interplay of human effort and the passage of time, to appreciate both ingenuity and impermanence. The mind, unhurried and open, drifts among ruins, artifacts, and echoes of the past, experiencing the beauty of questions that may never be fully answered. As the listener imagines these shadows, a soft, contemplative rhythm emerges. Time stretches, the past and present coexist, and the mind drifts in the quiet embrace of curiosity. Ancient civilizations, their achievements, and their enigmas are felt rather than solved, appreciated for their depth, complexity, and mystery. In this serene exploration, history becomes less about certainties and more about presence, awareness, and the gentle unfolding of wonder. A perfect space for calm reflection and meditative contemplation as the journey through the mysteries of the past continues. Time moves in silence, a patient witness to everything humans have built, imagined, and then abandoned. Across landscapes, in ruins, in artifacts, and in the very stones beneath our feet, history has left quiet traces, subtle yet enduring. Mountains, rivers, and deserts carry memory as much as they carry stone and soil, their slow changes marking the passage of centuries. Walking through ancient sites, one cannot help but feel the contrast between human fragility and the permanence of nature. Temples crumble, walls fall, and civilizations vanish. Yet the earth endures, holding the echoes of lives long past. The listener is invited to sense this continuum, to imagine the weight of time as both gentle and unrelenting, a presence that cradles history without urgency. Even the smallest artifact becomes a testament to endurance. A carved stone, half buried in dirt, holds the faint pressure of hands long gone. A vessel with a subtle glaze reflects the care and attention of its maker. These silent witnesses, whether monumental or minute, evoke curiosity and calm in equal measure. They are the links between generations, connecting the observer in the present with creators in the distant past. There's a rhythm to this awareness, a slow pulse of reflection, as if the heartbeat of humanity can still be felt faintly in the spaces where people once lived, worked, and dreamed. Landscapes themselves act as keepers of memory. Valleys and hills conceal ancient roads, terraced fields, and forgotten settlements, often hidden beneath layers of vegetation or sediment. The shapes of these places reveal human ingenuity, how people adapted to their environment, built in harmony with the land, and sometimes succumbed to natural forces beyond their control. Walking through these terrains in imagination, the mind senses both the creativity and vulnerability of those who came before. Each contour, each shadowed nook, each silent stone carries a story. The listener is encouraged to slow their thoughts, noticing the subtle details, the quiet persistence of human endeavor, and the profound patience of the natural world that has preserved them. There is a meditative serenity in recognizing the interplay of permanence and impermanence. Ancient monuments, whether grand or modest, endure as symbols of human effort, while their creators have long since disappeared. In these spaces, history is felt rather than fully known. The wind brushing over ruins, the rustle of leaves around toppled columns, the soft trickle of water through abandoned channels. All of these sensory details create a calm immersion. They allow the listener to experience history through observation and imagination rather than through facts alone. Each scene becomes a slow, reflective journey where mystery and memory coexist in gentle balance. The remnants of human culture scattered across the earth are also reminders of collective achievement. Roads that once carried trade and ideas, walls that enclosed homes and cities, and carvings that told stories or recorded events are all subtle forms of communication across centuries. They speak softly, not demanding attention, but inviting reflection. Even when the full meaning is lost, these artifacts convey the essence of human curiosity and perseverance. They act as a bridge between past and present, linking us to thoughts, actions, and intentions that we can only partially understand. The quiet presence of these structures and objects fosters a gentle appreciation for the scope and depth of human history. Nature's role as both preserver and eraser of memory adds another layer to this contemplative space. Rivers carve valleys while simultaneously revealing ruins along their banks. Wind and rain erode mountainsides, exposing stonework buried for centuries. Vegetation grows through cracks in walls and between stones, simultaneously concealing and accentuating the traces of human labor. This delicate balance between creation and decay is central to the sense of calm that permeates ancient landscapes. The listener can imagine themselves wandering slowly through these spaces, feeling the rhythm of time in every stone, every fallen column, every shadow. Silent observers, the earth and its features remind us of continuity. Human lives are fleeting, yet the traces left behind endure, subtly influencing the present. Terraced fields, stone paths, or the foundations of cities tell stories without words, inviting meditation on the persistence of memory and the transience of life. In these quiet spaces, the mind can drift freely, contemplating the cycles of civilization, the rise and fall of societies, and the patient resilience of the natural world. The awareness of this interplay between human action and the passage of time fosters a gentle, sleep-friendly sense of perspective, allowing the listener to relax into reflection. Even the most monumental sites, which may have inspired awe in their original time, now exude a different kind of quiet authority. A fallen temple or a partially eroded monument does not demand reverence. It offers presence. It asks only for observation and contemplation, allowing the imagination to wander through its halls, envisioning the lives it once touched. Shadows stretch across crumbled walls, sunlight glints on weathered stone, and the soft hum of wind through empty corridors becomes a lullaby of memory. Here, history is not rushed, not forced into interpretation. It is felt in the slow unfolding of perception, a gentle immersion into the continuum of time. Ultimately, time's silent witnesses teach us to balance curiosity with calm. The ruins and artifacts, the mountains, rivers, and deserts, all provide evidence of human endeavor and impermanence. They invite reflection on the delicate thread that connects past to present, known to unknown, life to memory. The listener can appreciate both the endurance of human creativity and the quiet passage of centuries, observing without urgency, imagining without pressure, and letting the mind drift gently among the remnants of history. In this space, curiosity and serenity coexist, forming a bridge into contemplation and rest, preparing the mind for the final reflections of the journey through history and mystery. As we reach the closing chapters of our journey through history and mystery, there's a profound sense of quiet awe that settles over the mind, a realization that the past is far more intricate, layered, and interconnected than any single narrative can fully capture. Across continents and millennia, from sunken cities beneath the waves to enigmatic artifacts whose purposes remain elusive, the story of humanity is composed not only of what we know, but of the spaces in between. The questions, the shadows, the silences. These silences are not empty. They are alive with possibility, holding the echoes of lives, thoughts, and achievements that have weathered the passage of time. As the listener rests, the mind can drift gently among these echoes, embracing both the known and the unknowable, and finding in this balance a serene, contemplative rhythm. Time itself emerges as both character and storyteller in this final reflection. The slow movement of centuries, the erosion of stone and metal, the rise and fall of civilizations, all serve as a gentle reminder that nothing in human endeavor is truly permanent. Yet within this impermanence lies a remarkable continuity. Ideas, knowledge, artistry, and human curiosity persist, quietly threading their way through history, sometimes resurfacing in new forms, sometimes hidden beneath layers of sediment, awaiting rediscovery. The listener is invited to sense this continuity, to recognize that the past is not a distant, static entity, but a living presence, gently informing the present, whispering through ruins, artifacts, and landscapes. We return for a moment to the submerged cities, their streets and temples reclaimed by the sea, where the ocean's patient rhythm has preserved fragments of civilization while simultaneously reshaping them. The mind can imagine sunlight filtering through water, illuminating columns, mosaics, and stone stairways, while fish glide silently through the spaces once filled with human voices. In these sunken worlds, the contrast between permanence and impermanence, presence and absence, is most poignant. The quiet of the ocean amplifies the sense of mystery, allowing the imagination to drift slowly, freely, without the urgency of discovery or explanation. These submerged realms remind us that even in loss, there is beauty and continuity, and that history can exist in forms beyond what we can immediately comprehend. Similarly, the cataclysmic events that shaped civilizations, the eruptions, earthquakes, floods, and climate shifts, offer a meditation on human fragility and resilience. These natural forces, immense and indifferent, remind us that human effort is always situated within the broader rhythms of the earth. Yet even as societies fell or were transformed, traces of their existence endured, offering insight into creativity, adaptation, and survival. The listener can imagine the slow unraveling of life, the tentative steps taken to rebuild, and the enduring curiosity that drove humans to understand, adapt, and continue despite uncertainty. This reflection is both humbling and comforting. It situates individual and collective experience within a vast, patient continuum, where every ending is also a transformation. Artifacts that defy explanation occupy a special space in this reflective journey. The Antikythera mechanism, the Baghdad battery, and countless out-of-place artifacts reveal human ingenuity and curiosity in ways that challenge linear historical narratives. Holding these objects in mind, the listener can imagine the delicate hands that crafted them, the careful thought, and the experimental spirit that guided their creation. There is a meditative rhythm in contemplating these marvels. The precision of gears, the faint inscriptions, the enigmatic shapes all invite observation, wonder, and quiet speculation. The unresolved nature of these objects encourages patience and reflection, fostering a gentle curiosity that coexists with serenity. They become companions on the journey, guiding the mind through questions without demanding answers, allowing imagination to flourish in harmony with contemplation. The interplay of distant civilizations, with subtle echoes and shared motifs across continents, underscores the interconnectedness of human history. Pyramids, temples, flood myths, and symbolic carvings suggest that human curiosity, observation, and ingenuity were not confined to single geographies. Even without direct contact, the parallel development of ideas points to universal questions. How do we measure time and space? How do we understand the cosmos? How do we preserve memory and express creativity? Reflecting on these patterns allows the mind to drift across cultures and continents, noticing the quiet harmony between human experience and the natural world, and appreciating the shared pulse of curiosity and imagination that stretches across time and space. The shadow domains of unresolved mystery, the labyrinthine ruins, partially deciphered manuscripts, and enigmatic artifacts, invite a contemplative engagement with the unknown. Here, the mind is not tasked with solving, categorizing, or interpreting, but simply with observing and imagining. Shadows of corridors, eroded carvings, and faint traces of daily life suggest the presence of past societies while leaving space for speculation. The beauty of these mysteries lies in their elusiveness. The absence of certainty encourages gentle wandering of thought, fostering relaxation and meditation. As the listener drifts through these spaces, the mind experiences a soft dialogue with the past, one that emphasizes wonder, patience, and a profound awareness of human fragility and creativity. The natural world emerges as both witness and participant in history. Rivers reveal buried cities, wind and rain expose artifacts, and vegetation both conceals and accentuates human traces. Mountains, deserts, and oceans serve as enduring canvases upon which the story of humanity has been painted, erased, and repainted over millennia. The slow rhythms of nature remind the mind of cycles far larger than individual lifespans or civilizations, encouraging reflection on the ephemeral and enduring qualities of life. The listener is invited to sense the tactile and visual dimensions of these landscapes, the texture of stone walls, the contours of ruins, the gentle sway of trees and grasses over abandoned streets. Through this sensory meditation, the past becomes immersive, a space for calm observation and quiet awe. As these reflections unfold, a pattern emerges, the balance between curiosity and serenity, the known and the unknown, the ephemeral and the enduring. Each site, artifact, and shadowed corner of history offers a gentle invitation to observe, imagine, and feel rather than to solve or conclude. This balance is the essence of the sleep-friendly approach to history, an immersive experience that stimulates wonder without anxiety, curiosity without tension, and imagination without urgency. The mind can drift freely, exploring distant times and places while remaining anchored in a sense of calm and continuity. Even human creativity, observed through architecture, art, and ritual, is experienced here not as a series of achievements, but as a rhythmic pulse extending across generations. The terraces of Yanaguni, the sunken streets of Mediterranean ports, the intricate designs of OOP arts, all reveal the same human desire to understand, to create, to leave a trace. These creative acts resonate across time, a quiet dialogue between the past and present. The listener can sense the intention and care imbued in these creations, feeling a connection that transcends centuries, continents, and languages. It is a meditation on the universality of human aspiration, a gentle reassurance that curiosity and creativity are timeless companions. Finally, this closing reflection emphasizes that history and mystery are inseparable. The known illuminates, while the unknown inspires. The resolved offers context, while the unresolved invites imagination. Time is both a teacher and a companion, offering lessons in fragility, endurance, and transformation. The listener, enveloped in this tapestry, experiences a lullaby of thought. Civilizations rise and fall, artifacts endure, landscapes shift, and yet a subtle continuity persists, linking past to present, human to human, and life to memory. In this serene space, curiosity becomes gentle, reflection becomes immersive, and the mysteries of history unfold not as puzzles to solve, but as landscapes to inhabit with calm wonder. As the mind drifts toward the gentle close of this journey, there's a deep sense of continuity and connection. Each ruin, artifact, and site, whether submerged, eroded, or partially hidden, speaks softly to the enduring curiosity of humanity. They remind us that even in loss, knowledge, creativity, and wonder persist, patiently waiting to be noticed, imagined, and appreciated. This final meditation allows the listener to rest in a state of calm curiosity, contemplating the interplay of human endeavor and the slow, quiet rhythms of nature. It is a space where history is not hurried, mystery is not pressing, and the mind is free to wander, dream, and ultimately settle into a tranquil embrace with the past. In the quiet aftermath, as thoughts drift and the mind unwinds, the stories of ancient civilizations, enigmatic artifacts, sunken cities, and unresolved mysteries merge into a soft tapestry of reflection. The weight of millennia becomes a gentle presence rather than a burden, the unknown a companion rather than a source of tension. The listener is left in a state of serene curiosity, carried by the gentle rhythms of history, lulled by the poetic cadence of human achievement and mystery, and soothed by the realization that the past, in all its complexity, remains an intimate and ever-present guide to the present and beyond.